So good afternoon to you all. It's really lovely to welcome you here this afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jill Holden and I'm the Principal Officer of the Early Childhood Unit here at the National Children's Bureau. And I'd like to welcome you on behalf of us all at the National Children's Bureau to our Learn, Explore, Debate event. This is the first of 3 events all happening this week, all a repeat of each other. So welcome to you all today. NCB delivers these events in our capacity as Department for Education's stakeholder engagement partner for early years. And part of the events is to bring together early years practitioners from across the country. So we are really pleased that you're all with us here today. So feedback from our previous LED events has shaped the agenda for today. So we're really pleased that we're going to be focusing on 3 topics that you've told us you'd like to explore. So today we're focusing on early years and COVID-19 recovery, Ofsted inspections under the revised EYFS, and supporting children with SEND. And I'll say a little bit more about the agenda and how the afternoon's going to run in a little while. But first of all, I just want to take a moment to pause and reflect, as we can't get away from the impact that the last 19 months has had on the early years sector. So after 19 months of a global pandemic, there's absolutely no doubt that it's been the most challenging of times for everyone, for you and all of your staff, all of the colleagues and people that you work with, but also for the children and the families that you work for. And throughout the pandemic, you've continued to work tirelessly for children in your care, staying open throughout the lockdowns, working in very challenging circumstances and adapting your routines and your practices. And I never fail to be absolutely amazed at the awesomeness of early years, your ability to adapt, think creatively and move things on so that you get the very best you can for the children and families you're working with. So we know that even though things are getting back to normal, and I use that term really loosely, I'm a bit of a one that says what is normal anyway. So even though things are starting to move back to some normality, times are still challenging across the sector and more broadly. We hear about the struggles that settings are having with staff recruitment and retention and absences due to COVID and how stretched and how busy you all are. So we want to take an extra moment to thank you all for the amazing work you do for children and families that you support and care for, and also for the support you give to your colleagues. The first line of the Development Matters 2021 framework states, no job is more important than working with children in the early years. And I just can't reiterate this enough. And I want to applaud you for all the work that you're doing. Every single day you make a difference to the young children and the families that you work with. We also want to take time to thank you for attending today's event and for prioritising being here, again in that context of knowing how busy you are. We really hope that you'll find the event useful, find it stimulating and supportive, and that you'll have practice to take back to your colleagues and take forwards. And hope there'll be some key messages that you can share and reassure your colleagues also. So also reflecting, if we pause for a further moment to think about the impact of the pandemic on the young children that you work with and to put it into context. So for young children, 19 months in a pandemic is a considerable amount of their little young lives. So you can see from this slide here, and if you see me looking sideways, I've got a dual screen, so I'm trying to look at the camera this way, but then I've got my screen and my slide on there just to check I'm on the right slide. But you can see from this slide here some statistics. So for 5-year-olds, that's 32% of their lives. 4-year-olds, 40%. 3-year-olds, 53%. And 2-year-olds, 79%. And for our children who are 18 months or younger, 100% of their lives has been lived throughout a global pandemic. And I don't know about you, but when I look at those, the harshest of those statistics, it's quite staggering, really. When you think that the oldest children, even the oldest children in EYFS, have had approximately 1/3 of their life during a pandemic. And like I say, the youngest children, it's been their whole of their life. We do, however, know that children are amazingly resilient and often adapt to changes. However, we also know from everything that you're telling us within the sector and from recent studies that children's development has been affected. Most notably, there are concerns about personal, social, emotional development and communication and language skills. And we know these skills are key for future development and well-being, both now and in the future. And we've put the link on there. We will post the slides a little bit at the end, but we'll post all the slides up on the Foundation Years website, so you'll get all of these after. But the link is up on there for where you can find the research to that as well. So after the challenges of the past 90 months, now more than ever, practitioners, children and families need the early years to be recognised and valued by everyone for the important stage it is. Need support and help young children develop key personal, social, emotional and communication skills, and need for the sector to work together to give children the best start and to support our early years workforce. We're really pleased that the revised EYFS places an emphasis on developing children's communication skills, and also that it aims to reduce paperwork, enabling more time to be spent with children. On too fast. Next slide, sorry about that. So a little bit of a slide here about the National Children's Bureau. So NCB continues to work to raise the profile of the early years, supporting children, families and early years professionals. And we do that through our role as DFE strategic partner, where we work with DFE to improve practitioner knowledge, skills and confidence, and through listening to the sector and facilitating that healthy debate between the DFE and the sector. Key part of our role is also to bring together people and organisations to drive change in society and to deliver a better childhood across the UK, and always to work in partnership with children, parents and professionals. Bless you to whoever just sneezed. So you might also be aware of our Build Back Childhood campaign. You can see there on the screen we had that as a hashtag. So NCB joined with over 700 organisations to put a case for investment to the Treasury ahead of the spending review in October. And our ask was for government to deliver joined up investment in children and families that looks to the future. NCB believes that the Treasury has listened to many of the arguments put forward by the children's sector, and we applaud them for this. The new investment in public services and additional financial support for families that was announced in the budget will undoubtedly make a real difference to the lives of many children. The prominence given to needs of babies, children and young people in the spending review provides us with a glimmer of hope that we're embarking on a path to build back childhood after the pandemic. So as the Department for Education strategic partner for early years, through the Foundation Years community, we provide you with the latest official information on early years policy, and we strive to create opportunities such as these events to bring the Department for Education and the sector together to ensure policy and practice improvement. So you can see on this slide here how you can find out more about the Foundation Years website and also our social media channels. And we'd love to invite you to follow us, to subscribe to the mailing list if you haven't done so already. You can also join in conversation about today's event on Twitter by using the hashtag LED events and tagging us in your tweets, and our tag is @FoundationYears. So our agenda for today. So as I've said earlier, we've developed the agenda alongside working with the Department for Education. That's been following feedback from our previous LED events, and we're pleased to be able to focus on these three important themes: early years and COVID-19 recovery, Ofsted inspections and the revised EYFS, and supporting children with SEND. And you can see there on the slide we have various speakers who are going to be joining us and contributing. We really want to recognise the department has listened and agreed to the themes for these events in response to what the sector has asked for and requested. We've kept these events to 3 hours because we know how challenging being on screen can be for a long time, and we also understand the huge pressure on your time. And we'll also make sure we have a break midway through for you. So as you can see from our agenda, we've included presentations and some case studies from frontline practice, and a chance to discuss and connect with one another in some groups. And we hope that you'll find today's event informative, inspiring and supportive.